OG Fortnite is going to bring a huge live event, and this was all possible because Kado Thorne brought with him a time machine. We discovered that he has been traveling through different time zones to steal artifacts. In the trailer, we saw him go on the same date the skin Aura was released and brought with him part of his gold. And then we discovered more artifacts in his base, like Midas's hand. Quickly, we find out that this guy was not okay. Fortnite themselves tweeted, "The fate of the island is at stake and we must defeat Kado Thorne." And they say thievery is the last resort, meaning we have to steal the time machine. And to protect the island, we see people show up like Nolan Chance. When we go talk to him, he says he has been working with Dr. Sloan and he wants to recruit us. So basically this means that Dr. Sloan is the one who's actually hired Nolan Chance, and he has been recruiting people to help him steal the time machine. So we go around the map asking people if they want to join our crew, but a lot of people say no. And then we finally go to Antonia, a highly skilled thief who's actually worked with Nolan Chance before, but Nolan Chance betrayed her. And to convince her, we had to go to Rumble Ruins and steal this ring. After offering this ring to Antonia, she decides to join the crew. Then we hire Piper and our final member, Fish Thick. And the heist is on. But it turns out this heist was very difficult because every time they do it, it seems to defeat Kado Thorne is very difficult. Because not only are you going to have to defeat a bunch of gods that he has recruited, and you have to get through 2 thick vaults. And somehow you manage to get through all of that, you'd have to fight Kado Thorne, who's a vampire. So finally, Dr. Sloan teams up with an old pal, Agent Jones. Because if you remember, Agent Jones is actually quite good at dealing with people like Kado Thorne. Because if you remember, in Chapter 2, Season 5, he single-handedly saved Fortnite. Now, at first, he was unwilling to join the group because of what Dr. Sloan did to him and us. But he understands that if he completes this mission, there is something for him as well. In fact, this might be the only way he can actually get to the 7. Because if you think about it, in Chapter 1, the 7 are still alive. So he can use the time machine, go back to Chapter 1, go to the 7, and then deal with Dr. Sloan. Because you know that Sloan is going to the Imagine Order with all of the information that she's gathered from Chapter 2 to Chapter 3. The collision event when the Imagine Order was defeated. Dr. Sloan can go to the Imagine Order and avoid all of this. Now, Kado Thorne feels like he is getting weak because his enemies are growing. And for the first time, there are multiple enemies on the map right now. He's got Dr. Sloan and Nolan Chance. And on the map right now, also he's got high-stake hunters who's chasing him as well. High-stake hunters are a bunch of these monster hunters who travels around realities, destroying monsters. And they were actually convinced by Shimmer Dusk. And Shimmer Dusk has been hunting Kado Thorne for hundreds of years because Kado Thorne destroyed everything she knew, her family, her friends. She says she's not going to stop until she defeats Kado Thorne. The high-stake hunters and Shimmer Dusk use this specially made shotgun called Stake Shotgun, who's actually was made to defeat Kado Thorne. Now, to protect himself, he goes to different realities and brings different weapons and people to help him. He also brings back characters that we know, like Nautical, Fish Stick, and he does this by corrupting them and turning them into evil creatures. He releases all of these creatures on the Fortnite map to create distraction. But since the high-stake hunters and Shimmer Dusk are working together, they create a plan. The high-stake hunters goes after all the monsters and Shimmer Dusk goes after Kado Thorne. Now you can see during the Halloween update, the high-stake hunters and Shimmer Dusk attacks Kado Thorne's base. Kado Thorne, knowing that he cannot fight them, he tries to run away. That's why you found the vault inside of the main vault open and Kado Thorne is inside. And the date on the time machine says 12th of July 2000. 2018. He tries to escape, but he picks the wrong date because this was during Chapter 1, Season 5. And if you remember, this was the glitch season. Because of the giant rift in the sky, the whole map was glitching, stuff was glitching in and out of the map. And because of this, the time machine starts destabilizing. It time travels back to Chapter 1 and time travels back again, brings back all of the stuff from Chapter 1. That's why we saw a bunch of Chapter 1 Season 5 stuff on the Chapter 4 map. But this time, Shimmer Dusk catches Kado Thorne and eliminates him for good. This means Dr. Sloan now has her hand on the time machine. She tried to test the time machine a few times, but she completely forgets that the time machine is still set to the date when we had Chapter 1 Season 5. And this time the destabilization of the time machine gets even worse. It starts rifting back and forth, and because there is this giant rift in the sky in Chapter 1 Season 5, and the time machine uses the same energy that a rift uses, and because of that rift in the sky was huge, the time machine starts overloading and it explodes. It rifts everyone on the island back to Chapter 1 Season 5. But this problem isn't over yet, because while we're on Chapter 1 map, the time machine will continue glitching. It will make time go faster, so every week we are going to see a new season of Chapter 1 up until we reach Chapter 1 Season X. This was the final season of this chapter, and the same season we had the black hole event. This huge event will take place next season. We don't exactly know if it's going to be the same event, or maybe because Dr. Sloan and Agent Jones is on the map and they're working with Imagine Order and the Seven, the event is going to be similar but not the same, like slightly different. Now I think it's going to be different because we know that the outcome of this event is going to be different, because rather than Chapter 2 map, we are going to get a Chapter 5 map. Now, there are a lot of rumors going on that the Chapter 5 map is going to be like a remix version of Chapter 2 map, because we know that the first time we had the black hole event, it rearranged the Chapter 1 map into Chapter 2 map. That's why in Chapter 2 we still had locations like Pleasant Park or Retail Row. Similarly, after this event, we will get the black hole, and that black hole will rearrange the map yet again. And this time we will still have some locations from the Chapter 1 map, but at the same time we will get like brand new locations. Now this live event is scheduled right now to take place on December 3rd, but you will get a countdown timer starting November 21st, so I'll see you guys in Chapter 1.